Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. There is a version of you that was never meant to make it to your future. There is a version of you that was designed by fear, built by doubt, and controlled by insecurity. And if you keep letting that weak version of you dictate your steps, you will never step into your destiny. See, we spend so much time asking God to bless us, but God is saying, I can't bless what you refuse to become. You are praying for elevation, but you're holding on to the very thing that's weighing you down. You are crying for change, but you won't let go of the version of yourself that's addicted to excuses, comfortable with mediocrity, and afraid to stand in the fullness of your power. But today, oh, today is different. Today, we declare war on weakness. Today, we break the chains of comfort. Today, we kill that weak version of ourselves and step into the greatness we were called to be. Recognizing your weakness is the first and most crucial step toward transformation. You cannot kill the weak version of yourself if you do not first acknowledge that it exists. Too many people walk through life blind to their own limitations, making excuses for why they are not where they want to be. But excuses will not set you free. Truth will. And the truth is, there are patterns, mindsets, and habits in your life that have been holding you back, keeping you small and stopping you from stepping into your full potential. You must look yourself in the mirror and be brutally honest. What is it that keeps pulling you down? What thoughts creep into your mind when you're about to make a bold move? What habits are draining your energy, your faith, and your future? It could be fear, laziness, procrastination, insecurity, or the need for validation from people who don't even have the vision to see where you're going. It could be the fact that every time you get close to success, you sabotage yourself. Because deep down, you don't believe you deserve it. Self-awareness is power. If you do not recognize the weak areas in your life, they will continue to control you. The enemy does not fight you in the areas where you are strong. He fights you where you are weak. And as long as you remain unaware, you will keep falling into the same traps, repeating the same cycles, and wondering why your life isn't changing. But when you recognize your weakness, you take back control. You strip the enemy of his power because now you see the battlefield clearly. There is nothing wrong with having weaknesses. The problem is when you refuse to acknowledge them. Too many people live in denial, pretending they are strong in areas where they are actually crumbling. They cover up their weaknesses with distractions, busyness, and even success. But let me tell you something. Your talent can take you places where your character cannot keep you. If you don't address your weaknesses, they will show up when you least expect it. The pressure of life will expose what you refuse to confront. If you want to kill the weak version of yourself, you must be willing to do the hard work of self-examination. Sit with yourself and ask, where am I struggling? What habits are killing my potential? What mindsets are limiting me? And don't just ask, be willing to listen to the answers, even when they hurt. Growth is painful. Transformation is uncomfortable, but you cannot change what you refuse to acknowledge. Some of you have been running from your weaknesses for too long. You keep blaming other people, your past, your circumstances. But at some point you have to stop running and take responsibility for your own life. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to do the work for you. If you want to change, you have to be the one to do it. Recognizing your weakness is not about feeling ashamed or defeated. It's about taking ownership. It's about saying, yes, I have struggled in this area, but I refuse to stay here. Because the moment you recognize your weakness, you position yourself for strength. You open the door for growth, for discipline, for transformation. You stop making excuses and you start making changes. Understand this. Your weakness does not define you, but your willingness to overcome it does. The most successful, powerful people in the world are not the ones who have no weaknesses. They are the ones who recognize them and do something about it. They don't hide from the truth. They don't run from their shortcomings. They face them head on and work to grow beyond them. So today I challenge you, be honest with yourself. Don't ignore the areas where you are struggling. Don't pretend you have it all together when you don't. Have the courage to recognize your weaknesses, because once you do, you can finally begin the process of killing the weak version of yourself. And when that weak version dies, the strong, unstoppable, purpose-driven version of you will rise. Breaking the chains of comfort is one of the hardest yet most necessary steps in killing the weak version of yourself. Comfort is seductive. It lulls you into complacency, whispering that where you are is good enough, that stretching yourself is too painful, and that staying in familiar territory is the safest route. But comfort is also a prison. It keeps you stuck in cycles of mediocrity, trapped in the same patterns, living the same year over and over again while calling it growth. If you truly desire change, if you truly want to rise above the weak version of yourself, you must break the chains that comfort has wrapped around you. There is a reason why growth is uncomfortable. It forces you to confront the unknown. It demands that you leave behind what is familiar and step into uncertainty. The problem with so many people is that they want transformation, but they don't want the discomfort that comes with it. They pray for elevation, but they resist the process. They want success, but they're unwilling to let go of what feels safe. But you cannot step into a new season while holding on to comfort zones are dangerous, because they give the illusion of safety while quietly killing your potential. When you stay in your comfort zone, you stop pushing yourself. You stop learning, stop stretching, stop challenging yourself to be better. And over time, that comfort turns into stagnation, and stagnation turns into regret. How many people look back on their lives and wish they had taken that leap of faith, started that business, written that book, or pursued that dream? But they let comfort hold them back. They let fear of failure keep them bound. Breaking the chains of comfort requires a shift in mindset. You must stop seeing discomfort as something to avoid and start seeing it as a sign of growth. When you feel uncomfortable, it means you are stretching. When you feel challenged, it means you are expanding. When things feel difficult, it means you are in the process of transformation. The struggle is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that you are breaking free. The weak version of yourself will always look for the easy way out. It will tell you to quit when things get hard. It will make excuses, justify procrastination, and convince you that staying in your current state is better than risking failure. But the strong version of you understands that discomfort is necessary. The strong version of you is willing to endure the temporary pain for the permanent reward. The strong version of you is ready to let go of comfort so that you can grab hold of purpose. Ask yourself, what areas of your life have you allowed comfort to control? Have you stayed in a job you hate because it's familiar? Have you avoided taking risks because you fear the unknown? Have you settled in relationships, friendships, or environments that no longer serve your growth? Every time you choose comfort over courage, you are strengthening the weak version of yourself. Every time you delay making a hard decision, you are feeding the part of you that wants to remain stagnant. You were not created to live a life of comfort. You were created to grow, to stretch, to elevate. Everything you desire, success, fulfillment, impact, is on the other side of your comfort zone. But you will never reach it if you are unwilling to break free. It is time to disrupt the routine. It is time to challenge yourself in ways you never have before. It is time to kill the weak version of yourself that has been hiding in the comfort of familiarity. Because when you break those chains, you unlock the power, the potential, and the destiny that was always meant for you. Developing a warrior mindset is essential if you want to kill the weak version of yourself and step into your full potential. Life is not going to hand you success, breakthroughs, or transformation on a silver platter. You have to fight for it. You have to be willing to go to war against every limitation, every doubt, every insecurity, and every obstacle that tries to stand in your way. A warrior does not wait for the perfect conditions to act. A warrior moves forward, even in the midst of adversity. A warrior does not retreat at the first sign of difficulty. A warrior stands firm, knowing that battles are won through persistence. The problem with so many people is that they want victory without warfare. They want success without struggle. They want growth without sacrifice. But you cannot walk into your destiny without facing some opposition. Every great transformation comes with resistance. Every elevation comes with a battle. And if you are not prepared to fight, you will always remain stuck in the same cycles, allowing the weak version of yourself to control your decisions, your mindset, and your future. A warrior mindset means you refuse to be ruled by your emotions. Weakness allows feelings to dictate action. When things get hard, weak people quit. When fear arises, weak people retreat. When doubt creeps in, weak people hesitate. But a warrior understands that feelings are temporary and discipline is what creates transformation. A warrior moves forward not because it is easy, not because they feel like it, but because they have committed to the process. Commitment is what separates the weak from the strong. The weak allow their circumstances to determine their action. The battlefield is not just external, it is internal. The greatest fight you will ever face is the one happening in your mind. Your thoughts will either be your greatest weapon or your biggest enemy. If you allow negative self-talk, fear, and doubt to dominate your mind, you will always operate from a place of weakness. But when you take control of your thoughts, when you train your mind to see challenges as opportunities and setbacks as lessons, you develop an unshakable inner strength. You must learn to silence the voice of defeat and replace it with the voice of victory. A warrior does not wait for motivation. A warrior creates momentum. Too many people are waiting to feel inspired before they take action, but inspiration is fleeting. If you wait for motivation, you will never be consistent. A warrior shows up every single day, whether they feel like it or not. They do the work when no one is watching. They train, they push, they prepare, knowing that the battle is won in the moments that no one sees. You cannot develop strength by avoiding struggle. You cannot build resilience by running from difficulty. The only way to grow is to go through the fire and come out stronger on the other side. Another key to the warrior mindset is refusing to be a victim. Life will throw challenges your way. You will face rejection, failure, disappointment, and pain. But you have a choice. You can either let those things break you, or you can let them build you. Weak people make excuses and blame their circumstances. Warriors take ownership of their lives. They do not waste time complaining about what went wrong. They focus on how to move forward. They do not dwell on past failures. They extract the lessons and use them as fuel. If you want to kill the weak version of yourself, you must decide that you are willing to fight for your future. You must develop the mentality that no matter what comes against you, you will not break, you will not quit, and you will not settle for anything less than your destiny. A warrior is relentless. A warrior is disciplined. A warrior is committed to the process. Knowing that victory is not given, it is earned. It is time to rise, to take control, and to fight for the life you were meant to live. Surrounding yourself with strength is one of the most powerful ways to kill the weak version of yourself. You cannot transform into the person you were meant to be while staying connected to people who keep you bound to who you used to be. Your environment has a direct impact on your mindset, your motivation, and your growth. The weak version of you thrives in weak company. But if you want to elevate, if you want to grow, if you want to step into your destiny, you must surround yourself with people who challenge you, push you, and inspire you to become stronger. Weakness is contagious. If you stay around people who complain, people who settle, people who make excuses, that energy will rub off on you. You will begin to adopt their mindset, their limitations, their habits. Have you ever noticed that when you spend time around negative people, your own thoughts start to shift toward negativity? That is because your environment influences your thinking, and your thinking influences your action. If you are constantly surrounded by people who have no vision, no ambition, and no desire to grow, you will find yourself stuck in the same place year after year, wondering why you are not progressing. The strongest people in the world did not get there alone. They had mentors, they had coaches, they had people in their circle who refused to let them settle. You need people in your life who will not allow you to make excuses, who will call you out when you are playing small, who will remind you of your greatness even when you cannot see it in yourself. These are the people who will elevate you, who will challenge you, who will push you beyond your limits. But here's a hard truth. Sometimes in order to grow, you have to let some people go. Not everyone can go with you to the next level. Some relationships were only meant for a season. And when that season is over, you must have the courage to move on. Holding on to people who no longer align with your growth will only slow you down. It is not about thinking you are better than them. It is about understanding that your path requires a different kind of mindset, a different kind of discipline, and a different kind of company. Look around at the people in your life and ask yourself, are they pushing me forward or pulling me back? Are they challenging me or keeping me comfortable? Are they speaking life into my dreams or are they feeding my doubts? If you want to kill the weak version of yourself, you must surround yourself with people who are stronger than you in areas where you are weak. You need to be around people who are already operating at the level you aspire to reach. If you are the smartest, most driven, most successful person in your circle is too small. Growth happens when you are stretched, and you cannot be stretched if you are constantly surrounded by people who keep you small. This is not just about friendships. It applies to every area of your life. The books you read, the podcasts you listen to, the mentors you follow, all of these are part of your environment. Feed your mind with strength. Invest in relationships that make you better. Seek out people who inspire you to level up. Do not waste your time in conversations that do not elevate your thinking. Do not allow yourself to be distracted by people who do not have the same hunger for growth that you do. You have to be intentional about who you allow in your space. Strength is built in the presence of strength. If you want to develop a strong mind, a strong work ethic, and a strong spirit, you need to surround yourself with people who embody those qualities. It is time to let go of weak company, break free from limiting influences, and step into an environment that empowers you to become the best version of yourself. Walking by faith and not by fear is a crucial step in killing the weak version of yourself. Fear is the greatest thief of destiny. It whispers doubts, magnifies obstacles, and convinces you to stay small. It keeps you in cycles of hesitation, constantly questioning whether you are good enough, smart enough, or capable enough to step into the life you were created to live. But if you want to transform, if you want to rise, if you want to step fully into your calling, you must silence fear and move forward in faith. Fear is a liar. It exaggerates problems, creates false scenarios, and paralyzes you from taking action. It will always try to convince you that the worst case scenario is inevitable. But when you live by faith, you understand that your life is not determined by fear, but by the power of belief. Faith is the ability to move forward even when you cannot see the full picture. Faith is the mindset that says, I may not have all the answers, but I trust that I am being guided towards something greater. The weak version of yourself is controlled by fear. It avoids risk, it shrinks in the face of challenges, it stays trapped in comfort because it does not trust what lies ahead. But the strong version of you understands that faith is the only way to access the life you were meant to live. Faith requires stepping into the unknown, taking action before you feel ready, and believing in yourself even when the odds are against you. Fear and faith cannot coexist. You are either moving in fear or you are moving in faith. There is no in between. Every decision you make is either leading you toward growth or keeping you bound in stagnation. When you make choices out of fear, you settle for less, you delay your progress, and you miss out on opportunities that were meant for you. But when you walk by faith, you operate with confidence, you take bold steps, and you align yourself with your true purpose. Walking by faith does not mean you will not feel fear. It means you do not let fear control you. Fear may be present, but it does not get to dictate your actions. Faith is choosing to move forward despite the fear. It is standing in the face of uncertainty and declaring, I refuse to let fear rob me of my future. The weak version of you will always look for guarantees before taking action, but the strong version of you understands that faith requires trust, courage, and obedience to the vision placed inside of you. Too many people are waiting for perfect conditions before they act. They're waiting until they feel ready, waiting until they have more money, waiting until they have more support. But faith does not wait. Faith moves. Faith takes the first step, even when the path is unclear. Faith understands that doors will open, opportunities will come, and strength will be provided as you go. Fear tells you to wait, but faith tells you to walk. One of the greatest ways to overcome fear is to take action. Fear loses its power when you step into movement. The moment you take a step forward, you realize that what you were afraid of was never as powerful as it seemed. Every time you move in faith, you weaken the grip of fear in your life. Every time you take bold action, you strengthen your belief in yourself and in the process. If you want to kill the weak version of yourself, you must train your mind to trust the process. You must develop an unshakable belief that you are being guided towards something greater, even when you cannot see the full picture. You must refuse to let fear dictate your future. The strong version of you is waiting, but it can only emerge when you decide to walk by faith, not by fear. It is time to trust yourself, trust your vision, and move boldly into your destiny. Embracing discipline and consistency is the final and most critical step in killing the weak version of yourself. You can have vision, you can have passion, and you can have faith. But without discipline and consistency, you will never see true transformation. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It is the ability to show up every single day, whether you feel like it or not. It is the willingness to put in the work even when no one is watching. It is the relentless commitment to growth, knowing that success is not built in a day, but through the daily decisions you make. The weak version of yourself thrives on inconsistency. It starts strong, but gives up when things get tough. It makes promises, but does not follow through. It allows distractions to pull it away from purpose. The weak version of you craves comfort, pleasure, and instant gratification, while the strong version of you understands that real success is earned through discipline and consistency. Discipline is not about motivation, it is about commitment. Too many people are waiting to feel motivated before they take action. They wait for inspiration, for the perfect moment, for the right energy to move forward. But motivation is temporary. Some days you will feel inspired and some days you will not. If you rely on motivation, you will be inconsistent. But if you rely on discipline, you will be unstoppable. Discipline means showing up and putting in the work even when you do not feel like it. It means pushing past excuses, staying focused on the goal, and committing to the process no matter how long it takes. Consistency is the secret to mastery. You do not become great by doing something once. You become great by doing it repeatedly. The strongest people, the most successful people are not necessarily the most talented or gifted. They are the ones who kept going when others quit. They are the ones who put in the effort day after day, even when they saw no immediate results. They are the ones who refused to be distracted by temporary setbacks because they understood that consistency compounds over time. Think about it. Everything you desire is on the other side of consistency. If you want to be physically strong, you cannot go to the gym once and expect results. You must train consistently. If you want to be financially successful, you cannot save money once and expect wealth. You must manage your money with discipline. If you want to grow spiritually, mentally, or emotionally, you must invest time in learning, reflecting, and applying wisdom every single day. The weak version of you will always look for shortcuts. But the strong version of you knows that true transformation comes through the daily commitment to improvement. One of the greatest enemies of discipline is distraction. The world is full of distractions. Social media, entertainment, negative influences, and time-wasting habits that pull you away from your purpose. If you are not careful, you will spend your days consumed by things that do not contribute to your growth. The strong version of you is intentional with time. It does not allow distractions to steal focus. It prioritizes what matters. It stays committed to the mission. Discipline also means being willing to do what others will not. Most people will not wake up early to work on their goals. Most people will not sacrifice temporary pleasure for long-term success. Most people will not push themselves beyond their comfort zones. But if you want extraordinary results, you must be willing to do what most people refuse to do. You must develop habits that align with your goals. Stick to them and refuse to quit when things get tough. Discipline and consistency are not easy, but they are necessary if you want to kill the weak version of yourself. You must become a person of relentless commitment. You must be willing to show up every single day, put in the work, and stay the course, even when progress seems slow. Success is not about doing big things once. It is about doing small things consistently over time. It is about building habits, making sacrifices, and refusing to let excuses control your life. The weak version of you is undisciplined, inconsistent, and easily distracted. But the strong version of you is focused, determined, and committed. It is time to stop making excuses. It is time to stop starting and stopping. It is time to develop the discipline and consistency required to become the person you were meant to be. Your destiny is waiting, but only those who are willing to put in the work will reach it. Now is the time to decide. Will you continue to live as the weak version of yourself? Or will you rise up, embrace discipline, and walk in the power of consistency? The choice is yours. The time has come to make a decision. No more excuses, no more delays, no more entertaining the weak version of yourself. The person you were yesterday, the one filled with doubt, fear, hesitation, and inconsistency must die today. The version of you that settles, that procrastinates, that chooses comfort over growth, it is time to bury that person for good. You cannot step into the fullness of your destiny while holding on to the chains of your past. You cannot rise while dragging along the weight of weakness. You cannot walk in power while allowing fear and self-doubt to control you. The strong version of you is waiting. The disciplined, focused, relentless version of you is ready to emerge. But you must make the choice to fight for it. You must be willing to develop a warrior mindset, to surround yourself with strength, to walk by faith instead of fear, and to embrace discipline and consistency like never before. Success, growth, and transformation will not come by wishing, hoping, or dreaming. They come by action, by commitment, by pushing through every obstacle until victory is yours. This is not just about motivation. It is about transformation. It is about making a lifelong decision that you will never go back to being who you used to be. Weakness is not your portion. Fear is not your destiny. Excuses are not your identity. You were created for more. You were designed to be great. You have everything you need within you to walk in power, to rise above limitations, and to live a life of purpose. The choice is in your hands. Will you remain where you are, repeating the same cycles, allowing weakness to rule your life? Or will you rise up, kill the weak version of yourself, and step fully into the strength, power, and greatness that is your birthright? The time is now. The moment is here. Kill the weak version of yourself and walk boldly into the life you were meant to live.